A person was burned and had to be rescued from the flames in an explosion in Bangor yesterday. Good afternoon, I'm Susan Farley. We'll hear from Senator Susan Collins about an appropriations package which includes significant funding for projects here in Maine. And Maine dairy farmers gather for an important meeting to discuss the challenges they're facing. Thank you for joining us. We'll have more on these and other stories in just a moment. First, let's check in with meteorologist Devin Biggs. Devin?
Hey Susan, happy Friday afternoon. We've made it to the end of the week. Here we go. A small crowd advisory is up until 6 p.m. on Friday, though. So today along the coast, because of some wave height issues that may occur, though, with some wind that will be developing as well, courtesy of this system in a few spots, though, causing rain and snow to develop across a good part of our viewing area. This was from earlier this morning. We'll be watching for this to clear up as we head towards the afternoon period. But as we zoom things out, we're not the only ones seeing any kind of precipitation right now. Again, this is tracking from west to east right now. Farther down to the south and west, more precipitation developing, including thunderstorms in the southern parts of the U.S. this afternoon as well. Meanwhile, though, things clear out this afternoon. We lose the clouds throughout the daytime period as well. And by later on tomorrow and even tonight as well, we'll be watching for more clouds that will begin to move in. So a little bit of a breeze along the coast as well. That's why that small crowd advisory is up. We'll lose that later on tonight, especially as we head towards Saturday. That's when things look to calm down. So for the rest of today, we have lower 40s, mostly cloudy. The rain and snow chances will start to wrap up with that northeast wind getting up to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Later on tonight, we have lower 30s, partly cloudy, with a north breeze at about 5 miles per hour. As we head towards tomorrow, we have upper 40s, mostly cloudy. A few sprinkles are possible. Look at this wind, only a light and variable wind. It'll be very quiet out there as we head towards tomorrow regarding the wind. So your hourly forecast for the rest of the afternoon period, the rain and snow chances will start to wrap up before we become mostly cloudy for the rest of the day. Maybe some breaks in the clouds as well, with temperatures in the 40s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Susan?
Thank you, Devin. A fire at Colonial Pines Mobile Home Park destroyed a home and seriously injured one man who was inside. Our Doug Banks spoke to Bangor's assistant fire chief and eyewitnesses who said they heard what sounded like an explosion.
First responders were notified at 12:13 Thursday afternoon of a man trapped inside a burning house located at 1343 Ohio Street in Bangor. According to Bangor's assistant fire chief, crews arrived on scene and quickly removed the victim from the mobile home. He says the victim was alive when he was pulled from the burning home and was immediately taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. His current condition is unknown at this time.
We had two ambulance crews on one ambulance and a Bangor police officer that drove us to the hospital.
One neighbor, whose home was damaged from the fire, told us her fiancé was pulling out of the driveway.
And he heard a big explosion and 12-foot flames come up over here. And the whole side of my trailer is all melted.
Assistant Fire Chief Corvo could not confirm the reports of an explosion or the number of occupants who occupied the home. One Colonial Pines resident was in his home at the time when he heard a loud noise, prompting him to go outside.
Saw the flames coming out of the trailer that fast.
Wister says he tried to get inside the burning home, but the flames prevented him from doing so.
I couldn't break the window, couldn't kick in the door. Tried, but the fire department got here fast.
According to Corvo, all three Bangor fire stations, along with first responders from Herman, Glenburn, the National Guard, and Hamden, had the fire under control by 12:26, only 10 minutes after crews arrived.
We couldn't do what we do without these guys, right?
No first responders were injured, and the cause of the fire is being investigated by the State Fire Marshal's Office. In Bangor, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
We did receive an update about the individual who was injured. It was a 75-year-old man who lived in the home. He sustained severe burns and was first taken to Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center in Bangor, but has since been transported to Maine Medical Center in Bangor by Life Flight. A second occupant of the home was not injured. There's no word yet on what caused that fire. One person was killed and another was injured following a terrible crash in Windsor. The Kennebec County Sheriff's Office says deputies were called to the Mud Mill Road just after 3 Thursday morning. They discovered a Subaru Outback that had gone off the road and crashed into some trees. The driver, 65-year-old Sean Donovan of China, was pronounced dead at the scene. The passenger, 42-year-old Jessica Harris of Augusta, was unconscious and was rushed to the local hospital. Deputies say their preliminary investigation suggests that Donovan suffered a medical event that caused him to veer off the road. The U.S. Senate recently passed a fiscal year 2024 appropriations package, which includes significant funding to support projects here in Maine. The appropriations package was championed by Senator Susan Collins and includes almost $427 million for projects in all of Maine's 16 counties. The money will be used to support law enforcement, clean water initiatives, the National Guard, the University of Maine, and projects in smaller communities. We asked Senator Collins about her efforts to secure this funding for Maine.
It's a lot of work, and we work very hard to make sure that we have a good case, that the projects are needed, that they've been vetted, that they go to either nonprofits or to communities or counties or the state. And we had a remarkable level of success.
Senator Collins says her role as senior senator and vice chair of the Senate Appropriations Committee gives her a strong platform to speak on Maine's needs. She's now leading negotiations on a package for the remaining 6 appropriations bills for fiscal year 2024. That second package includes money for 63 more projects across Maine. Some of the money secured in that appropriations package will support the residents of Isle Ho. Congress has approved more than $1.8 million for the renovations of Isle Ho's ferry wharf. The boat service runs the mail boat and the only public transportation to the area. They use the wharf to load freight and park cars. Isle Ho Boat Services President George Cole says the wharf is worn out because of its age and weather. He says the federal funds will help replace it.
We have plans on the deck to maintain 100% of our service during the construction. That will involve tearing down the entire wharf, half at a time.
Surveying of the ocean floor is already getting underway. Cole says with all the preparations required for the project, it will be the winter of 2025 before the actual construction can begin. Support service workers for Maine's community college system are calling on leadership to boost wages and restore merit pay increases, which have been frozen since 2009. The delegation of workers from all 7 of Maine's community colleges marched on System President David Degler's office. They had a petition signed from union members who say the increased enrollment due to Maine's free college tuition program has put even more strain on support workers who should be compensated fairly.
What's being asked of the employees is astounding, and without the college valuing the staff that services the college and services the facilities and keeps the infrastructure current and going, it is demoralizing for us.
Fair pay increases are important for everybody because it's just like the necessities of life. Like, for example, I am in a situation where I am currently relying on state benefits due to the serious lack of pay. I'm currently under $17 an hour.
We reached out to System President David Degler and received the following response. The support staff represented by this bargaining union are important members of our community and critical to our success. We are still in contract negotiations with this bargaining union and have offered a 4.5 increase in pay in each of the 2 years, in addition to increases in multiple other non-compensation areas, such as doubling the child care reimbursement. The points listed in the letter continue to be discussed in negotiations, and we look forward to coming to a mutually acceptable agreement. Coming up on ABC 7 News at noon, dairy farmers from around the state gathered to discuss the state of their industry and the challenges they face. We'll have that story when we return.
Our biggest competitor is going back to feeding their chickens antibiotics before they're even sick.
You can't solve your problems by throwing antibiotics at them.
At Purdue, we promise to stay no antibiotics ever. Purdue.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota. Wow.
Yeah.
Woo! I love it. Woo! Whoa.
Oh, hey.
Hey. What are we, Steve?
Winners.
I love you.
Right now, you could get special low 4.75% financing for 60 months on a boldly styled all-wheel drive Camry, which could save you up to $1,900.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Hello, this is George Whelan with Down East Direct Cremation. Now, anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, from the comfort of your desktop or the convenience of your mobile device, you can summon transport and arrange a simple, affordable, respectful, Down East direct cremation for your deceased loved one. Just by using the button exclusively at downeastdirectcremation.com. All you need is the location address of the person who has died, their vital statistics information, a valid credit card for payment, and that's it. No need to pick up the telephone, no need to answer a bunch of questions, no need to come into the store, and it's still just $9.75 complete. It's so easy, even I can do it. For more information, visit us at downeastdirectcremation.com or call us at 207-225-5332. Simple, affordable, respectful. The button, only at downeastdirectcremation.com.
Sign up for You Pick 'em Red Sox at foxbangor.com. Pick who you think is going to win and compete against other fans for prizes. Local news weeknights at 6 with Beth Jones and Peter Dubois on ABC7.
The Orono Arcade is an ideal birthday party destination. We have the best arcade video games, including Tomb Raider, Halo, Need for Speed, Mario Kart, and Luigi's Mansion. You are guaranteed to have hours of fun. Plus, we also have a 9-hole blacklight mini golf course that changes weekly. Allow us to provide hours of fun for you and your friends. You bring the cake, we'll provide the entertainment. Call us today to schedule your birthday party event, 889-3166.
You're watching ABC7 Bangor.
Supporters of family planning services are urging lawmakers to fund a bill that would provide greater access. The bill, LD 1478, received initial approval from both the House and the Senate last year, but the bill hasn't been funded yet and is pending special appropriations table process. If passed, the bill would allocate around $3.4 million every year to Maine family planning services. Advocates say the increased funding is needed to continue providing adequate care.
This network serves patients across the state and provides essential health care many would otherwise not have access to, including cancer screenings, behavioral health care, and primary care. For many patients, their family planning visit is, as Senator Peirce said, the only health care interaction they have each year.
Bill sponsor Senator Teresa Peirce says she's confident the bill will be funded in the last few weeks of the legislative session. Farmers from over 30 farms left their cows for the day for the annual Maine Dairy Seminar to highlight emerging trends and challenges within the industry. Our Grace Blanchard has more.
It's a good day to be a dairy farmer when we're at the Maine Dairy Seminar.
The annual Dairy Seminar brings farmers from across the state together to network and share challenges within the industry.
It's exciting to see all the farmers come together and get to meet and socialize and just share our concerns and issues, and also share some great things that are happening in the industry and in the communities.
Many farmers express their greatest concerns at the moment are the growing industry costs.
Being in Maine, we're at the end of the line, so feed costs are often much more expensive here than they are in other places in the country, which is a real challenge to many of our farms.
Members of the Maine Dairy Association say this is having the biggest impact on small family-owned farms.
So Maine doesn't even have any big farms. Our biggest farm is Flood Farm in Clinton, and they're tiny compared to farms in the country.
There's less than 150 dairy farmers, so the numbers are decreasing all the time. We want to make sure we keep a stable dairy base here in the state.
And the loss of dairy farms does more than just impact the economy.
Supporting them supports our family, and it's just, you know, if there's no farms, there's no food.
They say the need is greater than ever to buy local.
It's very unlikely that you'll see farms coming back into business once they've sold their cows and stopped milking. So it's important that we try to bolster the industry as much as possible and keep as many farms milking and continuing in the business as possible.
In Waterville, Grace Blanchard for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Warmer temperatures this winter have pushed up the start of tick season. Our David Ledford sat down with a University of Maine expert to learn more.
Tick season is now.
Spring hasn't officially sprung just yet, but University of Maine Tick Lab coordinator Griffin Dill says it's already time to start checking for ticks.
We are starting to see those increases in tick activity kind of creep earlier and earlier into the spring. 5, 6, 8 years ago, we may have been seeing this increase more so in the beginning of April. We're now seeing it mid-March.
The lab identifies ticks sent in by members of the community and tests them for diseases. Dill says the number of samples submitted for testing has increased steadily since the start of the new year.
Over the course of those winter months, they're just kind of trickling in. Now we're receiving anywhere from 5, 10, 20 a day. As we progress and the temperatures rise, and we may be getting up to as many as 100, 150 ticks a day.
He also says if Maine's mild winters continue, that could mean a rise in the state's tick population in the years ahead.
Whether that translates into more tick encounters with humans is hard to say. Over time, as we see that kind of tick season expanding, it gives the ticks a greater opportunity to potentially allow them to reproduce in greater numbers and increase populations in future years.
To ward off ticks, Dill says to fully cover your skin, use CDC-approved repellent, and check yourself and your pets for ticks when coming in from the outdoors.
We don't want people to be afraid of going outdoors, but we want them to take some of those simple precautions.
To learn how to submit a tick and access more information, view this story on our website. In Orono, David Ledford, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
After the break, it turns out a lack of sleep has a bigger impact than you might think. We'll be right back.
Jordan's sore nose let out a fiery sneeze, so Dad grabbed Puffs Plus lotion to soothe her with ease. Puffs Plus lotion is gentle on sensitive skin and locks in moisture to provide soothing relief. A nose in need deserves Puffs indeed. America's #1 lotion tissue.
Want to know a secret? With new Secret Outlast. You could almost miss the bus, but smell like you didn't. Secret fights 99% of odor-causing bacteria. Smell fresh for up to 72 hours. Secret works.
It's a crime to smell that good.
You may be eligible for a Medicare Advantage plan if you are turning 65, have limited income, or you are moving. See how a WellCare Medicare Advantage plan could get you some big benefits, including this all-in-one WellCare Spendables debit card to use for over-the-counter health items. Find out how easy it is to get all of your original Medicare coverage plus extra benefits. You could have medical coverage, coverage for prescription drugs, dental, vision, and hearing, and the WellCare Spendables debit card to make getting the coverage you need more convenient. The WellCare Spendables debit card can be used for over-the-counter health items. And here's more good news. You can get a WellCare Medicare Advantage plan with a $0 or low monthly plan premium. How can WellCare offer all of those benefits for a $0 or low monthly plan premium? It's simple. Medicare Advantage and Medicare Part D prescription drug coverage are important parts of Medicare. WellCare has a contract with Medicare to offer and provide these important options to you. Call right now to get your free copy of the WellCare All-in-One Guide. Call 877-423-4612 now. There is absolutely no obligation for requesting this free information. WellCare offers benefits that go beyond the basics, and we make them easy to use so you can support your best health. Call a licensed sales agent to see if you are eligible to enroll today and get your free copy of the All-in-One Guide with absolutely no obligation. Your free guide will provide information to make a smart choice for your health care coverage. Just call 877-423-4612. Remember, there's no obligation for requesting this free information. So call 877-423-4612. Call today.
A gang-fueled crisis in Haiti is raising new questions over whether we could see a new wave of Haitians seeking asylum here in the U.S. It comes as several political groups try to form a presidential council to help stabilize Haiti. The U.S. military evacuated some non-essential embassy staff over the weekend. 10 U.S. missionaries have also been evacuated, but State Department officials say they do not have a firm number of American citizens still trapped on the ground. Violent gangs have gained control of much of the capital, Port-au-Prince, shuttering government buildings. Road and airport are now And now several political parties have rejected a plan to create a transitional council and name an interim prime minister. The Biden administration is acknowledging concerns the crisis could lead to a mass exodus of Haitians seeking asylum in the U.S. Meanwhile, the Pentagon has deployed a Marine unit to Haiti to bolster security at the U.S. Embassy. A lack of sleep not only impacts how you feel the next day, but also it has a direct link to your long-term health. With more, here's ABC's M. Nguyen.
A healthy diet may reduce your chances of getting type 2 diabetes, but not if you're sleeping less than 6 hours each night. Researchers in the United Kingdom found people who sleep less than 6 hours daily are at increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes, even when eating a healthy diet. The study found people who ate a healthy diet did have a lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes than those who didn't eat as healthy. However, people who ate healthy but slept less than 6 hours were at an increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes. This shows the importance of sleep and why you should be prioritizing it in your life. A lack of sleep can cause fatigue, stress, slow down your metabolism, and alter your gut health. This can be troubling since most adults struggle getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. There may be various reasons for a lack of sleep, therefore it's important to control what you can and set up your environment for a good night's rest. You can do this by exercising, using your bedroom only at night, and sleeping in a cool, dark room. Although the researchers suggest that adopting a healthy diet may not offset your poor sleeping habits, this doesn't mean you shouldn't be eating a healthy diet. Eat healthy, but also aim for 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. With this Medical Minute, I'm M. Nguyen, ABC News.
According to a study done by CPR Select, less than 20% of Americans are CPR certified, and the Hart Brothers Foundation wants to change that. The Newport Fire Department led a CPR training class sponsored by the nonprofit for members of the American Legion Post 105 in Newport. The class taught how to conduct CPR and how to use the defibrillator, which was donated to the post by 105 by the organization In a Heartbeat.
Because I've been on the other side and had defibrillators go off, and and you're alive, you know. And if you happen to be on the other side and you can save a life, that's a good thing.
The goal is for everyone who participates in the class to receive a CPR certification. One of those in attendance said he wanted to know how to use a defibrillator in order to help in a dire situation.
Just think about it. If you're with somebody that you care about and they go down, you're going to feel awful frustrated if you don't know what to do. And this is saving lives.
If you'd like to learn more about the Hart Brothers Foundation, visit our website, foxbangor.com. You never know what kind of hidden treasures you'll find when you go out antiquing. There's a business in Ellsworth that's so chock full you can find new little gems every time you visit. Check it out in this week's Destination Devon.
WVII Relics is an antique mall on the outskirts of Ellsworth that seems to have just about anything you can think of, short of the kitchen sink.
Let me start at the beginning then. Toys, comic book, Legos, you know what that's from. We have one of the largest bookstores in Ellsworth, and then of course, you get a coyote. If a person comes walking through the door asking for something in particular, good chance we have it.
Shelley Bradsell and her husband originally opened the mall back in 2018. The couple has always been interested in antiquing and opened their business hoping to be the ideal place for vendors and artisans alike to peddle their wares.
Moxie, vintage clothing. Jerry's our license plate guy. There's Spider-Man. You have Kermit, print kind of records, vinyl. Kids don't know what a cassette tape is.
Over the years, these entrepreneurs haven't wasted a single inch of floor space, cramming in as many vendors as they can fit.
So we've doubled in the number of spaces. We've doubled, well, we probably tripled in the amount of spaces that we actually have for people.
With such an eclectic look along the 1A road, the Bradsells have no problem getting people to stop in and see what they're all about.
We've got some Stephen King books that are signed by him. Leatherface cutting the head off of Mario, Grandma and Grandpa. We're one of the first stops going on the way to Bar Harbor, so we get a lot of tourists. So that's fantastic. But the locals, once the locals find us and realize what we have in here, we hear a lot of comments about, I'm going to bring my family back, I'm going to bring my sisters back, oh, my mother's coming and such, they're going to love this place.
Even if you're not looking to buy anything, Shelley says she welcomes anyone who just wants to stop in to take a look around.
We're all about atmosphere and making people happy.
In Ellsworth, Devin Dagnall.
Thank you.
ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
When we return, Devin Biggs has your 5-day forecast.
Does your dream kitchen look like this? Or this? Or maybe you need a little more inspiration. Get it when you explore the complete in-store showroom displays at Hammond Lumber Company. When you find the look you like, the Hammond team will help you customize it, including accurate 3D renderings, so you can visualize your project before the work begins. Hammond offers delivery from any of the locations across Maine and New Hampshire and professional service after the sale. Your dream kitchen begins when you bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company.
With remote access from Katahdin Federal Credit Union, you can manage your money from anywhere. Don't let banking get in the way of living. Remote access from Katahdin Federal Credit Union.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
As winter fades and the weather warms, you might not be ready to think about air conditioning, but Valley Home Services is ready because now is the perfect time to beat the heat. Fujitsu heat pumps from Valley Home Services are not only great sources for heat in the colder months, they're also fantastic air conditioners for the hotter months. And right now is the best time to install a Fujitsu heat pump so you can take advantage of the efficiency for what heating is left and get a jump on the cooling for the summer. Embrace the comfort with Fujitsu and Valley Home Services.
Now let's check your full forecast with Devin Biggs. Devin?
Today's full weather forecast is brought to you by Healing Hands Massage in Hamden, providing professional massage services tailored specifically for their clients. Stop by Healing Hands Massage today. You'll thank yourself later. Alrighty, small crowd advisory is up until 6 p.m. as we head towards your Friday. So later on this evening, that's when we'll start to see this advisory dropped as we're watching for a little bit of active surf throughout the daytime period today, courtesy of a system moving in. So we're starting to see the first little bits of it now. So here's that first little bit right there with a little bit more to the south and west. That's going to move up here, and that's why that advisory is posted. So the wave heights are not bad just yet, but they will get a little bit active for a bit before they expire later on this evening. Meanwhile, though, on land, we've had rain and snow chances that have been developing across the region this morning. So this afternoon, moving forward, this is going to get out of here pretty fast, and that definitely means things will start to calm down. We might even get a few breaks in the clouds for a bit, too, before more clouds move in later on tonight. It's a large system, even farther down to the south, some showers, and even some thunderstorms have been developing in the southern parts of the U.S. Meanwhile, for us, we're on the northern edge of this with some rain and snow opportunities that have been developing. Futurecast moving forward, though, this afternoon, we're pushing this thing out of here. So some clouds, though, we'll lose the clouds for a bit later on this evening. Notice, though, by tomorrow, clouds move back into the picture. A few sprinkles possible in our backyards. Can't rule that out throughout the day on Saturday, with a few snow flurries possible further off towards the north where it will be a little bit cooler. But there's those sprinkles right there that will start to back off later on Saturday night. But another system starts to approach as we head towards your Sunday. That one a little bit more of a stronger system as well, with rain and maybe some snow opportunities as well, especially in the northern parts of the state throughout the day on Sunday. We'll push that through, though. Then another little wave gets in here as we head towards your Monday. Nothing to get too worried about with that one. We'll push that out of here, and then things will finally start to calm down, although it might still be a little bit breezy from time to time until about Tuesday. So otherwise, though, let's show you the snowfall map real quick. Nothing to get too excited about, though. Maybe a little bit of the northern parts of the state as we head towards late Friday and the parts of Saturday. But for the rest of us, though, not too worried about any snow accumulations at all. A little bit of a rainfall to watch out for today, though. Maybe a tenth of an inch or less of additional rainfall this afternoon, But again, later on, we'll be watching for a little bit more on the way, though. Maybe an additional half-inch of rain before we're all finished up between now and, of course, Tuesday evening as well. Average high temperature of 40 degrees. We'll do lower 40s today. The middle to upper 40s Saturday, Sunday, also into Monday. Lower 40s again Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. So your forecast coming up for today, we have lower 40s, mostly cloudy. The rain and snow will be wrapping up with that northeast northeast wind getting up to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. By tonight, here we go, lower 30s, partly cloudy, and that north wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow, here we go, upper 40s, mostly cloudy, a few sprinkles possible with a light and variable wind. Alrighty, here's a look at extended forecast brought to you by Healing Hands Massage. St. Patrick's Day, some rain is still possible, highs in the mid 40s, upper 40s Monday, partly cloudy with a slight chance for rain, mostly cloudy Tuesday, highs in the low 40s.
Thank you, Devin. If there's something strange in your neighborhood, who are you going to call? How about the New York City Fire Department? Fans are flocking to the famous Ghostbusters firehouse in Lower Manhattan, which is painted to promote the upcoming sequel, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. The FDNY is using that attention as it kicks off 2 weeks of fire safety education. Firefighters will be offering free CPR classes, smoke alarm installation info, and safety presentations at the firehouse as featured in the films. That's all for ABC 7 News at noon. Thanks for watching. I'm Susan Farley. We'll see you tonight.
That yellow's not gonna fly. Buckle up. Reality checkup. There's toothpaste white and there's Crest 3D White Strips white.
Whitens like a $400 professional treatment.
Prepare for a non-stop smile.
Crest.
To give your teeth a dentist clean feeling, start with a round brush head, add power, and you've got Oral-B. Round Clean's better.